Sometimes being a football fan can absolutely cut like a knife. Tonight's one of them nights. It's the Man City match vlogs coming up, Newcastle fans, so if you want to, stick around. But my God, that was tough. So are you seeing more positives than negatives to come out of tonight?
There's no wrong with the team spirit. We're missing players. We've got too many injuries. Yeah. You could see towards the end, we just ran out of steam.
Welcome back my banter, you lovely Newcastle fans. It's back. Home Premier League matches are back. First one since the 16th of December. So almost a month since I've been able to make this walk over to St James's in what is pretty cold conditions. I said in my match preview, the Sunderland game was fantastic, absolutely wonderful. But for me, we didn't actually play that well in isolation, in my opinion. We did what had to be done in a game of that magnitude, and we suddenly come up against one of the best teams in the world. This is by no means today an easy feat. But before we get into this match vlog and you come over to St James's Park with us, do me a little favour, Newcastle fans, drop us a little like you do. Whack that subscribe by the end of this video if you've liked coming along with us in what I hope might be a happy video by the end of it. But all the stats and everything suggest otherwise, which I'll get into later in this video. It's not a free hit by any means, because we should not underestimate our home form at all. It's not a free hit. We are capable of beating them on their day. We proved that in the Cup. I know they had a weakened team, we had a weakened team, but they still had some big players out there, and we took the game to them big time. We've got some really good players who can grab hold of this match. We need to defend better. I'm hoping one game a week is going to improve our levels of fitness to maybe make Bruno not as exposed in that midfield, as I talked about in my preview. And let's see what we can do. St James's Park under the lights. We've got a role to play today under the lights. Make some noise. There's a supporters group meeting up with a drum and some flags today. If I see them floating around, I'll try and see what they're about. I don't like drums, so I was against that when I heard it. I'm all about someone taking the bull by the horns to make more noise inside St James's. That's all. I'm all for that. You know, why not? But let's see. Let's get up to St James's Park anyway. I'm a little bit early today for once. Get amongst it. Match days in 2024 at St James's Park are back. Are we, lads? Right, just outside St James's Park. You can probably just see it behind us. I'm a little bit late to get in the ground. I hope digital ticking doesn't screw me. I've just seen the footage of the march that went on earlier on Twitter. I didn't get to see it in person. Wasn't a big fan. Not going to lie, was not a big fan. Drums, smoke bombs. It just looks like we're trying to create that European ultra group that's common in France and Serbia and all these different European countries. And maybe call me like traditional, I don't know. I'm all for them trying to improve the atmosphere. I really like that, I respect that, and hopefully it goes into the stadium today. But marching through with smoke bombs the streets every match before a game, I'm not sure about that. And a drum. I do not imagine having that drum, someone banging a drum next to you at the match for the whole game. That's something that I don't think should be brought to English stadiums. The ones that I've been to that have them, Portsmouth, I'll always remember that big guy with the long hair. He used to bring a drum. Not a fan, but hey, I respect it, and hopefully we'll see what the atmosphere is like. Let's just wait for the team news to come in. Fingers crossed. Well, we know who's going to be playing, but I really hope Livramento's in the team. Right, team news has dropped about 2 minutes after I just made that video, so I may as well stand here and talk about that. There's no Livramento in the squad, which I'm devastated about. I'm not going to lie. Dan Burn, we'll see how he gets on. You know, we can't forget that Dan Burn was integral in that defensive unit that was last season. He looked better against Sunderland, which, you know, every player did, so I'm not going to look into that too much. Midfield, as you'd expect. Miley, let's hope he has a big game today. Bruno's performance is going to be key. Almiron needs to play better. You know, Almiron has not played well for a while now. He was a little bit better against Sunderland, but I sound like a stuck record saying that because everybody was. We've got no options to bring off the bench. It's as we were. Manchester City, De Bruyne is not starting, which is nice to hear. De Bruyne is not in. He's on the bench. There's no Haaland. We know there's no Haaland. We'll see. It's going to be really tough ask. I'm going to get myself into the stadium now. Let's get amongst it. Are we there, lads? half time. How do you like them apples, Pep? Tell you what, two absolutely incredible strikes. Isak, my God, that was a perfect goal from start to finish. Two amazing tackles by Shea, a peach of a ball from Bruno, and then with Man City's high line, Isak, I don't think anyone was expecting him to do that. As calm as you like in the top corner, and then out of nowhere, Anthony Gordon, even harder finish into the bottom corner. Look, half started okay, and then we got a bit sloppy. Man City got that rhythm that we know that they can. They started to build their way into the game. We were giving the ball away in areas, but we grew into it a little bit more. We stuck at it, and my God, 2-1 at half time is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Their defence looks very dodgy. Goalkeeper went off early. That was big for them. Fingers crossed in the second half. I'm worried about the second half because they've got loads of players they can bring on, and we don't. And that could be a massive factor in this second half. But if we keep the intensity in the pressing, which is back, by the way, we've had a week. I said one game a week was going to be big. It looks like that's helping. And Eddie Howe has tried to change tactics. Almiron, for most of that half, played down the middle to draw them in a little bit more. And that's nice to see. That shows Eddie Howe's now got time to try things. On to the second half we go. Fingers crossed. Oh, it's going to be a big ask to get over the line in this one. But if we keep at it, stay switched on, bit of luck, fingers crossed. Are we there, lads? Right, David has just very kindly agreed to stop and speak to us because it is quite cold tonight. It is, and after that result, I don't think that many people want to talk to us. David, what's your initial thoughts after that match?
Well, I thought we put plenty of effort in. We couldn't get the ball off them. They're an excellent side. We couldn't get the ball off them. And to get 2 goals against them, I thought it was top notch.
So, are you seeing more positives than negatives to come out of tonight?
There's no wrong with the team spirit. We're missing players. We've got too many injuries. Yeah. You could see towards the end, we just ran out of steam.
Second half, the difference between them having a massive bench and us having no one to bring on.
When De Bruyne came on, they were really good the whole game, but they were better again when he came on, and we just couldn't handle him.
And obviously, after a really bad run of Premier League matches, obviously not with the derby aside, has it been a step in the right direction the last week or so?
I would say so. I would have been quite happy with the draw of the day, but beating the Mackhams was a big plus.
Yeah.
Now we've got Villa away. It's another hard game. We'll not have many more back. I'd be quite happy with the draw there as well.
Nice little 2-week break as well.
We'll see who we'll get back. That's the big difference. We've got nobody on the bench.
And I won't keep you much longer because it is freezing cold. With January transfer window in mind, obviously Eddie Howe's keeping his cards close to his chest like he always does. If you could strengthen one position, where would you strengthen in January?
I would like a forward because Wilson's carrying loads of injuries. He's always injured, which is a right shame. And Isaac was buggered the day. We had nobody to put on.
But as I said, more positives than negatives today. On to Villa we go.
Yes, that's what I'd say.
Happy days. I like the positivity to see we've just conceded a last minute goal. Thank you very much. Right, I'm joined by 2 familiar faces now on this channel. We stood in exactly the same spot as the last time I spoke to you. Same disappointing result as when I last spoke to you as well. Michael and Luke, sum that one up in a couple of words to start with.
Can I go first? Tough one to take as always. We really did deserve something out of that game, I think.
I thought we did.
Yeah, it's a hard one to take, but it was definitely that Sunderland game gave us a bit of confidence. We're playing a much higher line than we normally do against Man City. We looked like the tactics were working. It's just a shame we didn't get a point at least.
Yeah. I think it was probably predictable because we could see they were playing a higher line than we've ever played before against Man City. Botman and Shea were in the semicircle for most of the first half. The midfield was getting bypassed from both teams and it was going over the top. They were trying to get Foden and Alvarez in. We were getting Isak in quite regularly. So it was a funny game, but you could see that the difference was going to be energy levels, and we were going to run out of energy and they were going to bring on quality subs. Our subs today, Parkinson, Alex Murphy, Dummett, people like this on the bench, and they had Grealish, they had Oscar Bob, who fantastic goal by all accounts, De Bruyne, Phillips, Nunes. That's the difference. If we'd had the strength on the bench, if we'd had Wilson and Murphy back from injury, if we'd had Willock to come on and stretch that game,
I said that
run beyond people,
Willock.
that's massive. And that's not even talking about Tonali, Joe Linton, and the one person I think we didn't miss today was Pope. I thought Dubravka, was made some great saves.
Yeah, he did.
Frustrating. The difference is the quality of the substitutions, and it's what we've been talking about all week. How can we follow the rules but strengthen the squad as quickly as we can? We're playing catch up, and that just the gap was noticeable today.
Yeah, like at full time I felt frustrated because I feel like if we'd had that full squad, or just not as many injuries in the second half, we would have been able to maintain a bit of a press on them, which was working in the first half, but it doesn't work for 90 minutes. It doesn't, does it? That proved to be costly in the second half.
Yeah, it was a much better performance from us, as Luke said. You could see having a week on the training ground, having a bit of rest between games, the confidence from the Sunderland game. Almiron pressing high, winning tackles. Trippier was really solid today. Position, he got caught a couple of times, but he was up for all his 50-50s, winning the ball. Gordon was brilliant again. Isak looked untouchable. They were frightened of him at the back, they were hesitating. So I thought the performance was great, but you knew that they couldn't keep that up for 90 minutes. And the difference we hope for the Villa game is, will we have a new signing on the bench? Will we have a Calvin Phillips in that squad and rest Longstaff, who I thought Longstaff was the one poor player for us today?
Yeah.
At both ends of the pitch, twice tried to flick it when he could have let it go. He blocked one of our shots. Yeah. He was slow to move the ball on, and at the other end giving away cheap goals, not tracking back. So, take Longstaff and Miley out of that team for a rest. Bring in a Phillips, bring in a Murphy, who apparently is back in training. Put Wilson back on the bench. That's going to be the difference. Can we get one or two players in? Can we get one or two players back? We've got 2 weeks till the next game, so...
I said at the start of this video, sometimes being a football fan can be really hard. And that one, no matter who it's against, an injury time winner, when it's against you, you've got one team on the side of that's jubilant, celebrating like mad, and the other team that's on the wrong end of it. And we didn't deserve that tonight. We really, really didn't. Really, really frustrating. We deserved at least a point, because I was really proud of them players and all their efforts tonight. But as all the gentlemen I've just spoken to, David, said, there are more positives than negatives to take away from tonight, and I genuinely believe there are. We should have got a point, in my opinion, from one of the best teams in the world. We went toe-to-toe with them, and I'll tell you what frustrates me the most tonight is the fact that and again, I said I wouldn't cry over spilt milk, and you can call it that if you want, that's what I'm going to do. The fact that in that second half, when we were 2-1 up, that we didn't have any options to bring on to get us up the pitch, to help us to keep playing the style of play with intensity that was causing Man City to shit their pants in defence. We just didn't have it. We had nothing on the bench, and we couldn't have played that way. There was people in the stands, and there's people on social since I've come out the ground saying, we're not managing these matches very well to go on to win the game. No, that's bollocks in my opinion. The reason that's bollocks is because our style of play is so intense. It can't be maintained for 90 minutes against a side as good as Man City. It can't, and something had to give, and we had the lead to hold on to. And second half, could we have maybe pressed a little bit higher and done things a slightly bit different? Maybe, but not just play the same way. And imagine if we'd had a Joe Willock to drive us up the pitch, a Tonali to come on to sit in midfield for a Tyron Longstaff, a Murphy with his pace that he brings and how he likes to get a shot off, Livramento, just the list goes on, and it's really frustrating. And the difference for me tonight was the fact that Man City, when their backs were against the wall, they couldn't get a goal in the second half. They couldn't. We got a bit of luck, they skied one, Dubravka, who played really well now, which I'll touch on in a second. They could bring on one of the best midfielders in the world in Kevin De Bruyne as a second half substitute, and that was the difference. He's one of the best players I've ever seen in my life. He's that good. And I don't say that about many players who come to St James's Park, and that's the difference. But one of the main positives from tonight, and I tell you, I want Newcastle fans to realise this, and I'm not going to say, I told you so, but on previous videos, what I've talked about is the style of play that we do play with the fixtures that we've had between August and now. It was very difficult to maintain with the injuries we had, to not be able to rotate the squad. Now we have one game a week, and I keep talking about it like a stuck record. I saw different Newcastle tonight against some of the best opposition you can come against. Sunderland was now in the summer because they bent over and said, go on, beat us. But tonight was good opposition, and we did have that grit back. Pressing the goalkeeper, Isak terrorising them, Gordon Almiron chasing them down like rabbits. And that's only going to improve, and that gives me so much confidence going into the new year that this season is not done by any means if we can get some bodies in January. We played with a much, much better intensity. The energy levels were so much better. And that's going to come. What I also saw was Eddie Howe must have been trying things on the training ground, because he's now got time to get these players in and study the opposition a bit more rather than suddenly having a game on a Tuesday. Tactically, he was trying different things. Almiron dragged them in a little bit and played central for large parts of that first half. It didn't work that well because he was no good at holding the ball. You wouldn't expect a player like Almiron, the form he's been in, to be able to do that. We played with a higher line tonight, particularly in the first half. As the gentleman who I just spoke to pointed out with Botman and Shea, he's trying new things tactically, and we haven't really had a chance to do that. And Eddie Howe said it himself, and I've got full faith in the man. And a lot of Newcastle fans don't, because we've lost games from winning positions, and yes, it's frustrating. Yes, that one cuts like a knife, but think about the opposition, Newcastle fans, and also think about what player they've been able to bring on. We've brought Lewis Hall on for 5 minutes, who Eddie Howe's still not too sure of. You can tell, he said it. That's the difference. And if we had a full bench tonight, I would love to have seen how that second half went. I really, really would have. And that maybe makes me sound a little bit bitter, but there were positives tonight. Let's talk about performances. Trippier looks back to his best. Dubravka, have we missed Pope in the last couple of matches, the last 2 or 3? No, we probably haven't, because Dubravka's putting in some fantastic saves. The one in the first half that he tipped on the bar looked brilliant. You could even argue today, Dubravka's distribution out to Trippier for large parts of the game was better than what Pope's capable of. I thought Bruno had the fire in his belly that we needed him to. I mean, stupid yellow card in the first half, of course, but apart from that, he did, and he was pulling the strings as best as he could. Isak, as I've already said, was causing them all sorts of problems. If Isak can stay fit, that man, you can tell why we spent £65 million. He's class. He is. He's just a little bit isolated playing up top by himself, in my opinion. Gordon was just up for it again, but he ran out of steam, as all the players did in the second half. Almiron, well, attacking quality, no. Work rate, yes, which is integral to how we play. The less said about what he's actually adding. You know, he put a couple of decent balls in the first half with his right foot. God, I might go and put the lottery on. I did just say that, his right foot. But yeah, you know what you're getting with Almiron's probably is the best way I can describe it, but he was better. Definitely better. Longstaff for me was the only player tonight that I would maybe say stood out as being a little bit poor. Decision making, a little bit leggy, just not quite at the races. And Lewis Miley, I mean, if that boy is 17, talk about Luke Litter in the darts needing proof of his identification. Lewis Miley looks like he's been playing Premier League for years against one of the best midfields. Him and Rodri going toe to toe tonight. Some of the players he's up against, 50, 60, 70 million pound players. That boy's special. He's absolutely special, and I'm proud as punch of every single one of them. We've come off the Derby game, we've got back in on training, we've tried new things tonight tactically, which was nice to see. We've played with the style of play that we like to see. And, you know, first half, we started well. Man City grew into it like they like to, that rhythm like they play in a training match. And, you know, their goal, it was a good finish. Whether it was a free kick, apparently it wasn't. I mean, our first goal, you're not going to see a better one at St James's Park. You're not. The double tackle from Shea, the first time pass from Bruno, and that high line Man City were playing, Isak on your bike, and that finish into the top corner was absolutely fantastic. And then Anthony Gordon goes and maybe does a finish better, and it's dreamland at half time. But I said at half time, I was worried we had no players to bring on, and for me, so it proved. We rode our luck. We digged in, we stuck with it all the way, and it just wasn't meant to be. But we did not deserve to lose that match. But I tell you what, we've got a nice winter little break for the players now. The Geordies will probably go to Benidorm. The rest of the squad will probably go to Dubai for some prawn sandwiches. Let's take a rest, let's mentally recover, because playing Man City is mentally tiring. Maybe a couple of players back, Callum Wilson maybe, Barnes maybe a little bit closer. We go again against Fulham in the Cup, which is a big game in my opinion. It is for us to keep some Cup interest. Aston Villa away, but I've seen plenty positives tonight. It just hurts to lose the game we did. We ran out of steam in the second half, and the difference tonight, in my opinion, was Man City being able to bring on Kevin fucking De Bruyne. Plenty positives to take away, Newcastle fans. Plenty against one of the best teams in the world, who celebrated like they'd won the title tonight. That's how much that win meant to them in the last dying minutes. Try and enjoy the rest of your weekend, Newcastle fans. I'm going to have to stop this because my hand is freezing. It's absolutely bolting. I've just bought a tea and I don't even drink it. So do us a favour, because I'm out here freezing me bollocks off, give us a little like, give us a little subscribe, and I will be doing videos over the winter break because there's always something to talk about. Hopefully some January transfer concrete news to talk about, because I don't talk about rumours. And I'll see you on the next one. We went toe-to-toe with the champions. We gave them a good game. And I'm looking at that game massively as glass half full. I'll see you on the next one. How are you, lads?